Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, June 20th. Another beautiful morning in the Mid-Atlantic region, the Great Lakes, the Northeast U.S., the Mid-Atlantic experienced a beautiful weekend with comfortably cool temperatures and very, very low humidity levels, kind of a fall-like feeling this weekend in the northeastern quadrant of the nation. And really there's no sustained heat in sight for New England, for the Mid-Atlantic region, for the Great Lakes. As long as we continue to have a northwesterly flow of air in the upper part of the atmosphere in this part of the nation, it will be quite difficult to sustain any kind of a sustained heat wave in places like Philadelphia, New York City, Boston. This is a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly pattern as we begin the new work week here on Monday morning. Just look at this flow aloft in the northeastern part of the country. It's been basically out of the north or northwest for the last several days, and that's because the high pressure ridging has been centered over the middle part of the nation. Indeed, it's been very hot from the south central states across to the southeastern part of the nation, and with this kind of a height anomaly pattern, it'll be hot all the way up through the central and northern plains. But in this part of the nation, and as well the northwestern part of the nation, the western part of the U.S., it's been relatively cool, and that kind of a pattern looks like it will continue for the foreseeable future. And let's move forward here with the 500 millibar height anomaly forecast maps from the 0Z run of the GFS. Here we are into Tuesday, still northerly flow on the northeastern quadrant of this high pressure area, again centered way down in the deep south right here. And it's, make no mistake about it, it'll be very hot in this part of the nation, Texas to Georgia, all the way up into the upper part of the Midwest, but not so bad in certainly in New England. A lot of the West won't be so bad either in terms of the temperature pattern. Now let's move forward here. It does attempt to make a push into the northeastern part of the nation in terms of the high pressure ridging, but notice by the time we get to the latter part of the week, back to kind of normal conditions here aloft. The ridge tends to weaken, and this is an upper level kind of a cutoff low here that we'll have to monitor along the East Coast over the next few days. Always difficult to forecast these kind of systems here. It could certainly back in and cause some rain issues later in the week somewhere along the eastern seaboard. Let's move forward another few days here. Still sitting out here as we get into Friday, and then some ridging does pop up in the northeastern part of the nation, extending from the south central states. But right upstream we have another upper level low, and indeed there will be a cooler than normal air mass likely to drop right back into the northeastern part of the country in about a week or so's time. Well, in terms of temperature pattern, let's take a look at the 850 millibar temperature anomalies from the 0Z run of the GFS. Cooler than normal conditions continue for another day here in the Mid-Atlantic region, in New England. And certainly temperatures still below normal. Places like Philadelphia, New York City, Boston, again, warmer than normal conditions extending today from the south central states all the way up into the central and northern plains. But the west, interior of the west, cooler than normal. This kind of temperature pattern reflects what we referred to in the past several videos, the omega kind of upper level wind flow, and it's basically something like this, and it shows up really well here with these 850 millibar temperature anomalies. Winds north to northwest this part of the nation, and south to southwest in this part of the nation. Here is your high pressure ridge located, and very, very warm all the way up into the upper part of the Midwest. But out here you have upper level low sitting right here, and this is contributing to cooler than normal conditions in the northeastern part of the nation and as well in much of the western U.S. Now let's move forward here, and it does indeed try to turn warmer in the Mid-Atlantic region by the middle of the week, but there'll be kind of a backdoor cool front coming in. Certainly will keep places like New York City cool on Wednesday relative to normal, maybe even into Philly, holding in the 70s as a possibility on Wednesday. We'll have to watch for a low-level easterly flow developing in places like New York City, certainly Boston, and maybe as far south and west as the Philadelphia metro region. Now let's move forward here and just look upstream. Again, we have more cooler than normal air. Here we are now into the upcoming weekend, and it does turn warmer, but again, no sustained heat in sight for the eastern part of the U.S. Here we are a week from now into Tuesday the 28th. Much of the eastern half of the nation below normal temperatures. And as long as this kind of a pattern continues with northwest flow aloft, sustained heat will be quite difficult to attain in the northeastern part of the nation, in the Great Lakes. And here we are all the way into the very beginning stages of the month of July with a continuation of this kind of a weather pattern. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from the 0Z run of the GFS. Dry day today, much of the eastern part of the nation, and again, continued comfortable temperatures, humidity levels. On the backside of the high, we have a strong fetch of air coming out of the southern states all the way up in the upper part of the Midwest. It gets very, very warm in this part of the nation, and it stays very, very warm in this part of the nation. But here, quite cool with high pressure dominating and comfortable temperatures and humidity levels. Now, let's move forward. Chances for rain is virtually zero today in the northeastern part of the nation. Can be a shower or thunderstorm on Tuesday. Much better chance arrives on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, and this could turn out to be perhaps potential for some heavy rainfall. Later Wednesday night, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, much of the northeastern quadrant of the nation. We'll have to watch out for this. It could turn out to be possibility of some strong thunderstorms and certainly possibility for some heavy downpours. And then later in the week, a lot depends on the movement of an upper level low sitting right out in the western part of the Atlantic Ocean. Those are always kind of difficult to forecast, and here we can see some resemblance of a little upper level low, or a surface low in this case, right in this region right here as of Friday morning. It's just too early to say if it'll back in towards the eastern seaboard. That could change what is currently generally an outlook for dry conditions late in the week going into the upcoming week, but certainly a cutoff low over the western Atlantic could change things. And then go about a week ahead here, and we'll see kind of the sign here next Sunday into Monday of another cold frontal system. And these have been certainly a pretty typical pattern here for the last several weeks. Cold frontal system right in this region right here. A nice, cool, high pressure area that originated up in Canada, and another cool air mass a week from now. We're talking about next Monday, the June 27th, another cool air mass headed right across the Great Lakes and into the eastern states here by the time we get to the early part of next week. So another very comfortable day here in the Mid-Atlantic region, in New England, in the Great Lakes. Best chance of rain for this part of the nation looks like it'll come later Wednesday into Wednesday night, where there can be some heavy downpours associated with a couple of different frontal systems, and we'll focus in on that over the next 24 hours or so. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.